Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. I have a highly requested one for you today. We're going to learn how to do Live Wire by Motley Crue. Motley Crue is just blowing up the channel, man. Every single time we release one, people go nuts over it. So everyone's got to do Live Wire next, so we're doing it. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that little notification bell so you'll know when I release a new video. And check out my Guitar Academy, of course, at GuitarLessons365.com. All my guitar courses covered a bunch of different topics, and hopefully you'll come over there and join us. So we are in the Motley Crue D standard tuning. So that means every string is tuned down a whole step. I'll put those notes in the description if you don't know how to do that. That's D standard, so it's still gonna be played like, you know, all the chords work like normal, just everything's down a whole step, so it sounds huge. All right, so we have this main riff that I just played. All right, so I messed up those harmonics there. But anyway, so this main riff here happens and it has these little fills that happen at the end of it. In the beginning, he does a series of harmonics there. So let me just show you the fill, the riff first. So that is going to be the 5th fret on the D and the G together. And then Paul muted the open A string. I'm calling it the A string. I know it's a G string, but we'll just call it the A string to make it easy. So the 5 times. So I have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you did that 3 times, and then we have this. So we have now the 2 5s again. The open A string twice, then the 7th fret on the D and the G together twice, then the open A1. So then you repeat. So we have this. Now, when he does those harmonics, so the first time you hear those harmonics. So those harmonics are the, and what he said, especially in the G string, you almost hear like the, you almost hear the open G, so he's barely hitting it, touching it, so it's kind of half harmonic, half just a normal open string. But I'm going to play him just like a straight harmonic. So we have this 5th fret, this is all at the 5th fret here. The harmonics off the D string, and then the G, then back to the D, and then the A, and then back to the D. So with this. And then the harmonic on the G string 3 times. So all together. So that kind of replaces that part. When you go around, the harmonics replace it. Then we do the riff again. And then we have another different fill that isn't. That fill is a bend at the 7th fret, and then play on the G string there. Then play 5, then play 7, 5 on the D, and then play 7, 6, 5, 3 on the A string. So that's that second half of the riff. Now that's the way you're going to play it for the rest of the song too. That's going to be the fill that you're always going to end that riff with. So when you hear that later on in the track, you're just going to basically repeat that last fill every time you do it. It's just, all right. So then we have the verse. Takes us to the pre-chorus there. So we have this. It starts the same. And then what we do is we go to the so that goes the double stops there at the 7th fret of the D and the G together. Then the open A twice. So back to the 7s. Then the open A once, and then play 7/5 on the A. Repeat. So you gotta do that riff 3 times, and then to take it down to the pre-chorus with it. All right, so the pre-chorus there is that F power chord, the 3rd fret on the D and 5th fret there on the G. Then we have this. That's sliding 2 to 3 on the D string, and then play 3, 5, 3 on the A. And then we play pretty much the same thing. We play the power chord, the G power chord at the 5th fret off that D string, just 2 frets higher than what we just did. And then that same fill there. And then we're going to end it with the A power chord off the D string on the 7th string. So it is. All right, so that's pretty simple, kind of repetitive thing. That takes us to the chorus. So that's just the 7th fret there on the D and the 5th fret there on the G. And then move that up 2 frets. So it kind of does that over and over again. By also, kind of going back and doing. Here he kind of lightens up. He's not strict like. I think he's just going to kind of alternate picking the notes on the A string. All right, then we get back to that main riff. So that was that little fill that we did, the second fill. And then he repeats it again and plays the exact same fill again. All right, so that's, as I said, you're always going to play that same fill each time there for that main riff. Then we go back through the same verse riff, the same pre-chorus, the same chorus, and then he kind of turns on a phaser and turns down the, kind of cleans it up a bit. And we just have this. This is the bridge here. So it just starts with an A minor chord, and he'll hit different, kind of hit the top string some, and then he'll the lower strings. So it's just based around an A minor here, the 7th fret there on the D, and then you're borrowing the 5th fret across the G, B, and the high E. Then take it down to a G major chord by playing a bar across the top 2 strings of the 3rd fret, 4th fret on the G, 5th fret on the D. Then take that same shape down 2 frets to make it F, and then come back up to the G. Like I said, there's like a phaser effect on there. I didn't bother to dial one in, so. And from there, we're back to the chorus. All right, so now at the end of the track, there's actually a couple of guitars going here at the same time, but the main riff is kind of under it, a little bit lower at first, and then it comes out, and that's what he really plays live, and it sounds like this. All right, so that's just kind of sliding into 3 on the A string, then play 2, 0, and then slide into 3 again, 3, 2, slide into 5. And repeat that. And at the end, he just does this. Kind of goes back after that slide to 5. He can play 3, 2 on the A, and that's when we transitions to the outro section. Now underneath, over that, you'll hear, or under it really, you hear that kind of like, kind of an A to G to F. There. So he doesn't do that live, but that is on the recording. But if you just had one guitar, you probably just play that. All right, then we have the outro section. Looks like this. All right, so that is just that same riff we did for the main riff. 3, 4, 5, 1. And then you do that 3 times and then just go. So there's no hits on the A there. We just go that, hit the 2 5s twice, and then the 7, and there's a slight pause while Tommy does his little stuff, and then we go back. So you basically do that 3 full times. Now the 4th time, what we do is here, this. Start, and in place of this, the 4th time, we do this to end the track. So that's just that 3, 5, 3, 5 on the low E, and then play 3, 2 on the A, over to 3 on the low E string, and end it with that A power chord. All right, so it's an intense track, got a lot of fast downstrokes going on there. So I can really get that in shape for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a fun one to play though. And but like I said, it's tiresome. All right, I'll see you guys again soon for guitarlessons365.com.